What the hell happened with Quake Champions? Because like I viewed this as a coin. On one side, you had its arguably strongest single player game in the 90s, which was Doom. And then Doom 2016 kind of scratched that itch. It had multiplayer. It wasn't terrible, but it was just kind of there. And then I thought, oh, Quake Champions will be the multiplayer. You'll get id goodness, single player, multiplayer, just different games. They're two biggest IPs. And now we have a game that barely anyone plays that is still in early access. It's been in early access for like 3 years. So what the hell?
Okay.
What the hell would happen? What happened?
Oh God.
You know, eSports, competitive gaming is a billion-dollar industry now, all over TV. You know, so many games are launched and released with a specific purpose of being huge on Twitch, whether it's Apex Legends or Valorant now. All of them have extremely healthy ecosystems. Counter-Strike is a 20-year-old game, just like Quake, and it hit its peak concurrent player base of over 1 million people, more than it ever has, more than CS 1.6 ever had in its history. And it showcases really the longevity of competitive gaming and these old school games. And while all of this is happening, my game, the game that really started competitive gaming and esports in the West and made this entire industry possible, has been totally fucking screwed over completely time and time again by id Software in Bethesda. It is truly remarkable how much they have fucked up the Quake franchise. It's almost like intentional how much they've screwed this fucking franchise up with how many times they have managed to fuck it up over the years. It's not just Quake Champions. They fucked up Quake 4. They fucked up Quake Live. They fucked up every single Quake in the last 10 to 12 years. It's utterly pathetic. And basically, what's ended up happening every single time, and most recently with Quake Champions, is that they had the A team on Doom. And don't get me wrong, that was the correct decision by Marty Stratton and the guys over there. Obviously, Doom was a fantastic game, an incredible game. It really brought id back to like the front of being or like a respected developer, because for a long time id was been in the dumps. Rage was fucking trash. Rage 2 was pretty much garbage too. And like they didn't know what the fuck they were doing over there. And for them to bring back Doom in such a way, and especially with Eternal recently, like they've put back that studio to being like a world-renowned fantastic studio. But while they were doing that, they licensed Quake out again to Saber Interactive. The same thing that happened with Quake 4, which was they were working on Doom 3 and they decided, oh, well, whatever, let's give this to Raven Software to make Quake 4. And Raven totally fucked up the game in so many goddamn ways. And they didn't learn their fucking lesson. Tim Willits over there and was no longer there. And I'm
not there anymore.
And I gotta say, I'm not really sad that he's gone. And
Nobody
Marty, who
should be, you know.
I put all of this shit on Tim. I put it all on Todd beforehand, and I've yelled at Marty enough times as well. You guys fucked up. Like, I understand that you needed to bring back Doom and you had other focuses, but Tim was responsible for Quake Champions. And it shouldn't be surprising. You know where Tim works now. Saber Interactive. Just so happens to be the same company that he gave that fucking contract to make Quake Champions and to fuck up the whole game again. He probably got a fat contract himself moving over to Saber Interactive after all of this time. It was his responsibility to not make the same mistake that id Software made with Quake 4 in licensing out the game to another publisher and not keeping it in-house. id Software does have an incredible quality in terms of making their games in-house, as we've seen, and every time they license it out, it turns out to be absolutely garbage. Now, there are exceptions to this, like Wolfenstein, for example. The last two Wolfensteins, those are really good. Those are really good, but there's a difference between licensing out a story single-player game and curating a multiplayer focused game, which needs to be like constantly updated and constantly supported for a long period of time. And Quake being a legendary game that it is. They should have learned the lessons from Quake 4's fuck up, and even Quake Live was all fucked up. I mean, John Carmack wanted to make Quake Live to prove that you could run a video game within a browser. I think that was actually an incredible concept at the time, 2009, but they didn't support the game. There was no ranked matchmaking. There weren't fucking ladders. Like, you needed to pay. I paid id Software $250 for Quake Live just to play the game. It's not like I paid for like skins or anything. This shit doesn't fucking exist. I just pay them that much money to play the game. And they didn't take any suggestions. And after all that time, and after all the fuck ups that they had to screw up the Quake franchise, to license out the game again, for Saber to do such a god awful job with the game, like fucking terrible. Like, the game is so bad. Underneath, the engine is trash. The visuals are trash. The sound design, fucking garbage. Like, all of the major things with the game are so bad. And
this is so cathartic. Keep going.
And like, they've updated it to now the game is like okay, I get, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore.
It took them 3 years to add deathmatch to the game, Rod.
Oh my god!
Like, it took them 3 years to make the game okay, and it doesn't matter anymore because all the players are gone. The scene is gone. The players hate the fucking game. Besides the ones that are paid and under NDA that can't speak badly about the game, which they've also done. They've forced players to sign a contract to get money for the Quake Pro League, and they can never speak anything negatively or criticize the game at all on public social media,
Rod,
or in interviews or anything.
It's always a good sign when you reboot your esport while it's still in early access, right?
That shit isn't fucking real. The only reason it's still in quote unquote early access is because the game is dead. The game's fucking dead, and they will never like officially quote unquote launch the game.
Do you ever watch Quake Pro League?
Yeah, I mean, like, I've known these guys for so long. Like, I've been friends with DeHang and Rafa and Cypher and Cooler and Toxic and everything. I've known these guys for like 15 years. They're like my buddies. So of course I'm going to tune in to support them. And like, I gotta say, like, the most recent Quake Pro League finals was actually really great because the players make the game fantastic. It's still the classic Quake action. It's still like incredible like aim and timing and everything that makes me love Quake to begin with. That is all still there in this title, and the players can really make a shit fucking game extremely exciting. But like, that's why I tune in, support my friends, and to see some good action. The game itself is fucking bad. I cannot actually believe how much they fucked up. Tim, you fucked up so goddamn hard. Marty, I've tried reaching out to you. I know you are working on Doom. I know the focus is still on Doom. Doom is way bigger than Quake will ever be in terms of like the mainstream. Doom should be the focus, but please, Marty, if you're listening to this, which you're not going to anyway, you need to make this right. You need to make this right. I had dinner with you 13 years ago, literally telling you the same fucking shit as I am right now. And I cannot believe it's actually only gotten worse over a decade later. This falls on you. Tim is gone. Todd is gone. You're the only one left remaining over there from the early days. If you don't fix this shit, no one else will. And everyone is going to go play fucking Diabolical with Eggs, made by a guy who used to play your game to begin with. And him and his small DIY indie team has made a better fucking game that you have. Yeah. So please do something.